If all farmers had access to biotechnology, the world would be a better place to live in. Farming would be more profitable, and hunger and malnutrition could become a thing of the past, said by Honorable Ravichandran Vanchinathan, sir. Happy morning, sir. I am
Happy morning.
Pratiksha
Happy morning.
of
Okay.
grade 9, of grade 10, and today we all are here to ask you a few questions regarding agriculture.
Sure. Yeah.
So the first question is, from how many years are you farming?
I have been into farming since 1984. So I had my schooling in my village. Later, college also, I had it locally. And I did my chartered accountancy course in Chennai. But as soon as you know, in chartered accountancy, we have intermediate as well as final. After clearing passing my intermediate exams, my father was looking after the farming, and he was down with some ailment, stomach ailment. So later it was diagnosed that he had malignancy. So naturally, I had to quit my my chartered accountancy, and got into farming. Already, right from my childhood, I have passion for farming. So my initial plan was, after finishing my chartered accountancy, I wanted to take up farming as my full career after again service for some time. But unfortunately, because of my father's illness, I got into farming when I was just 24 years old, and took up farming as my career. So since then I have been doing it so passionately.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, how do you get into farming, whether by choice or because of ancestral occupation?
Yeah, I would. It's both. As I said earlier, right from my school days, right from my childhood, I used to go to the farm with my father. He taught me a lot of new technologies that were used during the Green Revolution era. Even using fertilizer was a new technology then. Right from then, I have been, I had my plans of becoming a farmer. So rather, it's by choice. I would say it is rather by choice, not by default. By choice, I became a farmer. But circumstances forced me to get into farming much earlier. I was planning to get into farming, so when I am 35 years old. But however, circumstances forced me to take up farming when I was in mid-20s.
Yes, sir. The following question is, what variety of crops do you grow? For example, cash crops, food crops, oil crops, ornamental crops, feed crops, or fiber crops?
Yeah. So I grow a variety of crops. I grow paddy, that is rice, cotton, pulses, and sugarcane. Earlier, I was growing, oilseed, that is soybean. Now there is no procurement agent for there is no processing unit near my place. I stopped growing soybean. I'm growing rice, cotton, pulses, and sugarcane as of.
Thank you,
and
sir.
Some vegetables as well.
Thank you, sir. Over to my friend Lahari.
Yeah.
A very happy morning, sir. I'm Lahari SR Gupta of class 10. I really feel very honored to be asking you a question. So my first question is, how long do you take for all the crops to grow, sir? How long does it take to get
See, it depends on the crop you grow. For instance, pulse crop, as I said, lentils, it takes 75 days. If you grow rice, it depends on the season. So, during Kharif season, it takes about, we call it in Tamil, Kurvai season. It takes about 110 days. The medium duration, that is, we call it the Thaladi, that is the following crop following Kurvai. That is, we used to grow 135 days old crop. And Samba, that is long duration, that is Rabi, it's 155 days. It depends on the season during which you grow. Sugarcane is annual crop. Sugarcane, it takes 12 months from the day you plant it. The harvest would be taking place only after 12 months. So, cotton from 85 days, it starts blooming, and we start picking the fiber. Then by 135 days, it reaches its peak, and you can keep it as long as you please, but it is not advisable to keep it forever. After say when it reaches its optimum level, we pull out this cotton and do this crop rotation so that the soil is not deprived of a particular nutrition. So that is why we do this crop rotation. It depends on the crop. Age of the crop is depends on the season and the crop you choose.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. What do you do
Okay.
after getting the yield, sir?
Yeah, there are two things. So of course, first I keep it for my own use. Rice, lentils, I keep it for my own use. And rest of the thing, I sell it in the mandi. Either to there are government procurement agencies like Tamil Nadu Civil Supplies Corporation, then which is the procurement agent for Food Corporation of India. Even I supply to this government as seed material. Seed material, for instance, rice, paddy. The paddy behind me is. I have taken it up on contract basis with the Tamil Nadu government to supply as seed material. And after keeping sufficient quantity for my own use, I sell the surplus. At the whoever pays me the better price. I sell it in the mandi or in the government procurement centers.
Thank you, sir. Sir, did you get any training? Like, did you go to any classes, do any courses, or did you attend any workshops to improve your skills? If yes, from where did you get the training, sir? And if not, who has guided you and how?
Yeah. So, as I said earlier, right from my school days, I learned, I got interested in farming, not only, by going to the farm along with my father. Besides, those days we didn't have TVs. We had only radios. Daily, every household in the villages, they would be listening to this radio farm program. I used to listen to this Trichy, All India Radio Trichy, during Green Revolution. They introduced a lot of new techniques and new farming methods and new varieties and what are the various agronomic practices. I learned from radio. After finishing my college and returning from quitting my chartered accountancy, I enrolled myself in Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. There is a distance learning mode. I did some few certification courses like cotton cultivation, sugarcane cultivation, and water management, smart use of water. Then there was a program by named that's in the distance learning mode. There is a graduation program called Bachelor of Farm Technology (BF Tech) by Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. I did that. Learning is a continuous process. Even Saraswati Devi is holding the book in her hand. That means, even the goddess of knowledge, she keeps learning. When all other deities, they hold different kinds of weapons, the weapon in the hand of Saraswati Devi is a book. So you could have seen it in the pictures or statues. That means learning is a continuous process. Even by interacting with you, I learn a lot of things. Every day, it's a learning process. Yeah, I learn a lot of things on a day-to-day basis from my co-farmers and from media, and besides reading books.
It was a very interesting answer. Thank you so much, sir. My last question to you is, how do you obtain the capital for farming, sir? Like, did you take any loans from the banks or from anyone else?
I take loans from the banks. Nowadays, the banks lend liberally to farmers at a very subsidized rate of interest. The interest rate is much lower than any other sector. So we are the priority sector, and I have been taking loans for the past 35 years. 35 years ever since I started farming, and I'm very prompt in repaying the loan. So immediately after harvest, I don't go to my house. I don't go to the temple. I just go to the bank as soon as I realize my proceeds and discharge the loan. Being a prompt, borrower, I'm getting a lot of incentives and appreciation from the bank people. So I'm getting it from earlier. I was getting it from State Bank, Nationalized Bank. Now I am getting it from the Scheduled Bank, City Union Bank. Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering all the questions with so much patience, sir. I would like to call Shruti, my friend, to ask you a few more questions. Thank you.
Sure. Sure.
A very happy morning to you, sir. I am Shruti of class 10 from Vidyanjali. I
Okay.
would like to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Can you tell me what methods of cropping do you use, sir? Like crop rotation, intercropping. There are a lot of new things today in this generation. What kind of cropping methods do you use?
Yeah, actually, it's agriculture. It's an emerging science, rather. So, though we have been doing agriculture farming for thousands of years, every day you are getting a new kind of technology. As you said, crop rotation is, some of the agronomic practices. There are good technologies. We do use a lot of these, modern gadgets. We use drones, we use this artificial intelligence, that is a mobile-based app to diagnose the ailment of our plant. So a lot of things, even micro irrigation as well. I use drip irrigation in my farm. Then, of course, as someone was mentioning about biotechnology, biotechnology is one important technique that enables farmers to increase the yield and increase the productivity. I use the combination of various technologies.
Where do you procure your seeds, sir?
Yeah, so seeds normally we store our seed. In India, there is no restriction for using your own seed. But nevertheless, every year I change the seed material. Every year, some new varieties are being introduced. After interacting with my fellow farmers and interacting with the breeder and the breeding institute, I grow variety of seed material. I procure it from the government agency. I myself is a seed producer. I procure this breeder seed and the foundation seed from the government and produce seed material and sell it to the government. I purchase the seed material from the government and universities. Actually, this evening I'll be getting some new variety from Tamil Nadu Rice Research Institute, Adurai. So I buy it from the established and good source. So seed is very important. If you make a mistake in selecting the seed, then whatever technology you follow, it would fail. So selecting the seed and the source of seed, authentic source, you have to select the authentic source. So that is most important. I am very choosy about it in selecting the source of seed material.
That was very informative, sir. Now tell me, what methods do you use to plow, sir? Like ox or tractors, or do you use any other methods?
So when I got into farming in the year 1984, I was using ox, that is animals I use for plowing. Now maintaining that animal, I found it difficult. Now I use tractors and small power tillers. These are some of the gadgets I use. Even our government provides at a subsidized rate some of the plowing equipments like rotavators and chisel plow. All such things our government provides at a subsidized rate. I hire it from the government by paying the advance money to the agriculture engineering department. I use tractors now, tractors and power tillers.
Okay, sir. What is the source of water for your irrigation, sir? Like bore well or river, or do you practice water harvesting?
Yeah, I use these bore wells. The main source is water. Water from the river. So ours is Puttar, which is a tributary of Kaveri. This is our lifeline, and I use the water from the river. But this is only for a short period, and the rest of the time I use drip irrigation and sprinklers and all such things I'm using. Right now I am standing in my drip irrigated field. I can even show you how I irrigate my field and how I conserve water.
Thank you for answering my questions, sir. Now I would like to invite my friend Yasir to continue with his set of questions.
A very happy morning to you, sir. I am
Happy
Mohammed
morning.
Yasser. I'm here to ask you a few questions.
Oh, sure.
First question, what methods do you use for irrigation? Like regular, sprinkler, drip irrigation, or some other methods?
Yeah, actually, it depends. Right now, I'm standing in my drip irrigated field. So in my rice field, I'm using drip system. Normally, the rice is grown in flooded condition. On an experimental basis, I tried out rice and drip irrigation. You know how much of water is needed to grow 1 kilogram of rice? 1 kilogram of rice? Can you make a wild guess?
No idea, sir.
Yeah, if you waste 1 kilogram of rice, that means you are wasting around 5,200 liters of water to produce 1 kilogram of rice. Normally farmers use so much of water. Now by using some of the better agronomic practices and installing drip, I'm able to reduce the water consumption as possible. I can even show you how the drip system works in my rice field. Yeah, I will share that photograph later. Yeah, one second. I think I have. Yeah, this
Next
is my
question.
drip irrigated field, drip irrigated rice field. You can see.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the drip line?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. This is drip irrigated. It is just a 15 days old crop. Rice is considered to be a water guzzler. I proved that rice could be grown in, like any other horticultural crop. You can see the drippers and water slowly dripping in the field. I just maintain this, just moist level. You can see. See, I'm maintaining just moist level. I don't, stress my soil with by impounding a lot of water. I use this. See, can you see this drip system? Yeah, this is the lateral. I even provide nutrition through this drip line. Every plant is a profit-making unit if you install drip system. So I have been successfully doing it for rice as well as other crops, pulses and cotton. And of course, not all farmers, they are convinced about it. But I'm convincing my rest of my farmers. I'm trying to convince them that drip system is a good investment. Government provides a lot of incentive. So for other places where I do not have these bore wells, I use river water.
Next question. What
Yes.
fertilizers do you use? Chemical or organic fertilizers?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. I use both chemical as well as organic fertilizer like farmyard manure, then compost. Then I use this green manure, Denja, Suspenia rostrata. All such things I use. Besides, I use need-based chemical. So every plant has to be nurtured. You don't get, the varieties that are being bred these days. They need a lot of nutrition and micro and macronutrients. For that, organic manure, no doubt, they increase this organic compound, organic carbon. But nevertheless, the plant need multiple, nutrition for which I use chemicals as well. It's a combination of both.
Do you practice any environmental friendly practices?
Yeah, as I said earlier, I can show you my cotton field where I use this genetically modified BT cotton. So which is pest resistant. So I refrain from spraying any insecticide to control pesticides. That means BT protein, it is it is spread throughout the plant, from the root to the top portion to the flower. Every plant has the inbuilt resistance against insects, bollworms, that is, Lepidoptera and pests. So since I refrain from using any insecticide in my cotton field, I preserve these, some of the predators like ladybird, beetle, chrysoba, then dragonfly. So all such things, even spiders. You can see all these non-target insects that take care of some of the sucking pests. So this is in a way, I'm helping the environment by refraining from spraying any insecticide to control bollworm in my cotton field. Again, coming back to rice, since I use a little amount of water, instead of impounding water for about 5,000 liters to produce 1 kilogram of water, I use very little amount. I just maintain just about moisture level. That means rice grown under inundated condition, flooded condition, it emits a lot of these CH4, methane gas, which is it is much worse than this carbon monoxide. So by using water judiciously in my rice field, I refrain. I avoid releasing. My paddy crop doesn't release so much of methane gas, which is also environmentally a friendly method. Both agronomic as well as other technology interventions, I'm maintaining this good environment practices.
Next question. What do you use to protect your crop from pests, chemical or organic pesticides?
Yeah, both. As I said, I use both chemical as well as organic. I would say you might have heard about this integrated pest management. So integrated pest management is, using chemicals is one of the weapons in the hands of farmers. There are color trap. I use light trap. I use light trap. Then crop rotation is also one of the good techniques of pest management. Bird perches I install all over my field so that birds, they sit on the perches and they devour on this pest. So I use besides when it is uncontrollable, when the pest attack is beyond this threshold level, I use these chemical insecticides. Selective. I'm very choosy in spraying any insecticide. Very harmless chemicals only I'm using. I'm using both organic as well as other, some of the integrated pest management, including that includes chemicals as well.
Do you need laborers to work on the farm?
Yes, certainly. Laborers, it is a very scarce commodity these days. We need agriculture is very labor intensive. Unfortunately, there are machines, that are helping us when there is a labor shortage. We use some of the agronomic practices like direct sowing, all such things we are using. We make the best use of the available laborers. So nobody is willing to work in the farm. They feel it is a social stigma in work in a farm. So getting laborers is a big challenge these days. But however, some of the machines, even drones, I hire some drones to spray in my field. So both labor as well as machines, I blend them wherever it is possible.
What wages do you pay to these laborers?
On an average, I pay about 400 to 500 rupees, depending on the supply and demand of laborers. I pay about 400 to 500 rupees per 7 hours of 6 to 7 hours of 7 hours of working day per labor.
Thank you, sir. I loved interviewing you. Over to my friend Anisha.
Happy morning to everyone present here. Happy morning, Ravichandran sir. I'm Anisha, 9th standard, and I'd like to ask you a few questions. Is your farming sustainable, sir?
Yeah, sustainable, it's a highly relative term. In Africa, they call it subsistence farming. Depending on my income, I budget my expenses. In a way, well within my means, I'm living. And when you compare it with other industries, other alternative opportunities, farm income is little bit lower. However, it is because it is subjected to a lot of risk factors. But fortunately for us, the government has introduced this crop insurance. Earlier, when we incur a loss, it would take at least 3 years to reboot and get back to normalcy. Now there is an insurance scheme, crop insurance scheme. It's a win-win situation. Either we get by way of a good yield, or in case of failure, we get compensated. In a way, I'm happy with whatever I'm earning from farming, and I choose the crop wisely so that depending on the supply and demand and the market projection, I choose my crop and the variety. So there are n number of varieties in paddy. Not all paddy varieties are sell at the same rate in the market. I select the ones which would fetch me the best price. So one has to be very choosy in before sowing. We have to take some of the considered decisions before sowing is undertaken. Yeah. So for me, okay, farming is I would say it is sustainable.
My next question is, do you wish your children to do farming? And if yes, why? And if no, why not?
So I have two children, but the eldest of them is she had her master's in ETH Zurich, Switzerland. She did her PhD there in the area of cell and molecular biology. Afterwards, she did her postdoctoral studies in Stanford University, US. Last week only she returned to India. She is very much interested in farming. She has returned to India for good. She is going to get married and she is going to get settled in Bangalore. She is also very much interested in farming. And my son, he is also very passionate about farming. Uh, he has innovated few good things like see for each plant needs the plant expresses its needs only through its leaves. He developed an app to measure the level of nutrition the plant needs. He won that all India president award for that. It's a mobile based app, so whether the plant needs zinc or nitrogen, or whether it has some pest problem or disease. So taking photographs, and it analyzes, the software analyzes and informs the farmer what kind of care it needs. So he has been into this technical line. Later, maybe now he is American, and yeah, he will be pursuing his doctorate there in US, Rhode Island University. And afterwards, definitely he will return to farming. He has been telling me, no, not to give up farming. He would take up farming later.
That's great, sir. I'm so glad to hear that both your children are interested in farming. So my last question to you is, nowadays many people are not into farming. What can be done to encourage the present generation to involve in agriculture?
Yeah, very, very, very interesting question. So, the very fact, see, normally, I'm thrilled to see, interact with children like you living in cities. I'm in a remote village. So you are interacting with me. That shows the level of interest that the younger generation is showing towards farming. That's a very encouraging thing. Yeah, as you said, if you on an average, so if you take a random sampling, the average age of an Indian farmer is 45 to 50 years old. So that is a pathetic situation. That is a gloomy part of the farming scenario in India. But nevertheless, it is there even in the US also. I visited some of my friends' farm in the US. I used to interact with a lot of my friends in the US and other nations. As you rightly said, the younger generation, they are not interested in taking up farming, but there is a shift in their attitude towards farming. Now, younger generation, youngsters like you evince a lot of interest, because the technology, farming has great potential for introducing new technology. Every day we are, as I said earlier, every day we are seeing some kind of new technology being introduced into farming. Again, everything boils down to finance. It should be, farming has to be not only environmentally friendly, and economically it should be sustainable. Farm technology should be developed in such a way that every plant is treated as a profit-making unit. So if there is whatever efforts we put into the farm, if it is transformed into profitability, then certainly youngsters would look upon farming as a great opportunity. And I'm quite confident that in future a lot of youngsters would be getting into farming. So Yeah, as of now, there is a exodus of local people to cities for various kinds of job. But educated elites are taking up farming and getting back to farming. That is a new development that is taking place.
Yes, sir, I agree very much with that fact.
Okay.
So over to my friend Ayushi.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, what was the impact of lockdown in farming?
Initially, during the first wave, uh, so there was some initial problem. So farmers growing some of the perishables like fruits, vegetables, flowers, they faced some, nobody bargained for this kind of lockdowns. Nobody expected this kind of lockdown. Initially, there was some problem in farming, in marketing the product, especially the perishables. But afterwards, we learned how to moderate our farming, how to farm in the lockdown situation. So again, when compared with other industries, farming is the one industry which cannot be stopped. For instance, you might not have traveled during this lockdowns. You might not have gone to a cinema theater to watch a cinema, but we can live without cinema or traveling or going to some hotels or entertainment. But we cannot, do away with the farming. So farming cannot stop. Every day, can you imagine a day without, without the products produced by our farming farmers? No, we cannot do it. We cannot, even a single day we cannot manage. So lockdown has not impacted much on farming. Say, for instance, when compared with the last year, the cotton price has gone up substantially. The lockdown hasn't had any impact on farming, any adverse impact on farming. It is only favorable. And we learned some of the, again, one incidental benefit of lockdown is, so in my 35 years of farming, I had, I might have attended about 25 or 30 seminars. But every week I'm having this kind of opportunity to interact with a lot of people. So this is, ironically, though, I wish the pandemic goes, the incidental benefit of this COVID is I'm getting a chance of interacting with the people like you. Lockdown has not had any adverse impact on farming.
Do you have any suggestions for the government, sir?
So my suggestion to the government is, this government, any government for that matter, whether it's state or central government, they are pro farmers, and a lot of any good suggestion they immediately they welcome such suggestions. And my suggestion to the government is, instead of putting lot of restrictions on getting new technology, all these hurdles, that is, for approval of any good technology, for instance, some of the GMOs, they are really good. And earlier, someone was mentioning about nutrition, increasing the nutrition value using GM technology. For instance, golden rice is one such technology which addresses the problem of vitamin A. All such restrictions must go. So if the technology is proven, then the farmers shouldn't have any hurdle in getting the technology. He must know the gap between the lab and the land should be bridged. It should be narrowed. If the research work is confined to the lab, then it is not going to help anyone. So it must reach the farmer. And all such hurdles that prevent the technology reaching the farmers must be removed. This is one plea I would like to make to this government.
Sir, do you see profit in farming?
Yeah, that's why I'm sticking on to farming. And as I said, see, only because I don't have any source of income. All my income is generated from my farm only. So with that only, I could be able to provide better education for my children. They studied well, and they had their education in good schools, and even my standard of living has improved. And both of them had their higher education, they have returned to India, and only because of farming. Only because farming is profitable, I'm able to provide this kind of benefits to my children. So that is obvious. Farming is definitely, I consider this to be profitable. And one more thing, any income from farming is tax free. So that is the greatest thing. Other nations, I think, they tax farm income as well. But in India, whatever how much you earn, that is exempt from tax. These are some of the benefits of farming, and again, I would say it is something like teaching profession. You get a lot of these. Besides getting profit, and it gives me a lot of this job satisfaction. Teaching profession is one profession that gives a lot of job satisfaction. Like that, farming is another area which gives total satisfaction to the to whoever who is practicing farming.
Sir, is it because the brokers are making more profit than the farmers? What is your opinion?
Yeah. So again, see, in India, most of the farmers are small and marginal farmers holding less than 1 hectare. That is for less than 2.5 acres. Our poor Indian farmers, they do not have the financial muscle to store their produce and sell it and wait until the price increases. So there is no, he has a lot of commitments. He has to take care of his personal needs. He has to discharge the loan that he or she raised from banks to grow for his crop that he has to discharge. So after paying all these debts and other meeting all the essential expenses, and he has to take care of his medical expenses, family expenses, and education expenses of their children. After that, he or she will be left with a very paltry sum. Yes, for average Indian farmer holding less than 1 hectare. So that is the great challenge. So what he does, he doesn't have the, as I said, he doesn't, as I said earlier, he doesn't have the financial muscle to hold the stock, to aggregate the stock, and until so there is economy of scale. The consuming industry wants bulk quantity. If he holds small quantity of farm produce, however good it is, however whatever be the good quality he is maintaining, but the traders will not be, the consuming industry will not be interested in procuring small quantity. So then that is where the brokers come into play. What they do, they are the aggregators. They aggregate them from different farmers. So they know the urgency of the farmers. They exploit the situation, and they eat the lion's share of profit. There is a huge gap between what the farmer, the average Indian farmer gets, and what the ultimate consumer pays. So there is a huge gap. So that is being, when it changes so many hands, certainly gap increases, and farmer gets less, and consumers pay more, and the brokers gain a lot. So this is the pathetic situation that has been prevailing for a long time. Now there is a new concept called farmer producer organization, FPOs. So group of like-minded farmers, they join together, they form a corporate limited company. It is a body corporate for the farmers and by the farmers. They aggregate, they sell it as a single voice. They get this, collective bargaining strength by aggregating the stocks. So these are some of the new developments. But as of until recently, even today, the brokers are the main stakeholders of they need to be the major portion of the profits, and that is slowly it is that scenario is fortunately it is it is going away, and farmer producer companies and aggregators and collective farming technologies are developing. I feel very proud that I won a Olympic gold medal by interacting with a lot of students, youngsters. They are the future farmers. They are the pillars of India. I'm extremely happy that they have posed some of the very interesting and thought-provoking questions. I really thank you for thank your school for providing me this opportunity to interact with bright young students, and giving the opportunity of expressing my thoughts and my thoughts and feelings and some of my suggestions and ideas. Wish you all a very happy Independence Day.
I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. First and foremost, I thank our honorable guest, Mr. Ravichandran, one of the most successful farmers of India, for spending this gracious time in spite of his busy schedule. I thank our coordinator, Mr. Balakrishna, sir, for giving us a highly knowledgeable interview. And at the last but not the least, my heartfelt thanks to my fellow mates for making this interview possible. Once again, I thank you all for this priceless attention. Stay patriotic. Jai Hind. Happy Independence Day.